So, hi everyone, you already know me, I'm James. I'm also 12, and
True story.
yeah. So my musical life so far, I've loved music like all my life, and I've been singing since I could speak pretty much. In 2013, I joined the Sydney Children's Choir as a Year 1 student, and my musical knowledge and ability as a musician has grown and been cultivated through that program. So that's where I learned lots of theory and stuff and like chords and all sorts of things. Later that year, I also started playing piano, and I still consider that to be like my main instrument, even though I'm really not the best pianist, but like I still prefer it to anything else. I've written many compositions for piano, and I sort of use it to like conceptualize compositions. I'm not sure I'd be able to compose the way I do if it weren't for playing piano. My first real recognition as a composer was when I was 10 years old for a solo piano composition called Storybird. There's a recording if we want to listen, but anyway.
We can listen to a bit of it. Sorry about that. Halfway through, maybe?
Sure. So that piece, I think, in 2017 won its category of the ACMF National Songwriting Competition. Anyway, I continued my musical journey by picking up a discount recorder at school in Year 2, and I decided I'd join like the school recorder consort, and eventually I joined the state recorder consort, which meant I got to like perform at the Sydney Opera House heaps of times. And that's really when I had my first composition performed, because through the conductor there with all of the ensembles, I sort of just gave the piece and she said, yeah. And anyway, so that was really cool. So I got to conduct that at the Opera House, which is really amazing. Anyway, this year I moved to high school and I've been at Sydney Grammar since this year. And I've been pursuing private lessons in composition with the Rising Stars program at the Com. What else should I mention? I've also been playing tuba for quite a few years. Anyway, so that's really a musical life so far. Then my fanfare, called Jubilation. I really enjoyed writing this piece as a fanfare for orchestra, because I'll normally write this piece like many other people for apparently brass and percussion ensemble, of a more traditional fanfare. Now, I couldn't do the thing that I couldn't stick to the traditional fanfare form with the whole brass percussion sort of thing, but I did try to follow, I guess, the attention grabbing start, then pulling back and leading towards a finish, I guess what we were talking about earlier. And my inspiration comes from a few fanfares I've listened to, such as the Orfeo fanfare by Monteverdi, but also the fanfare Through the Looking Glass, which I recently played in the wind band in the Australian Combined Schools Music Festival. Now that really gave me an idea of how to write a more modern sounding fanfare, I guess. Anyway, and I sort of always keep like a sort of a quirky sense of stuff in there, like modal and things that you don't quite expect. But I think that sort of ties into that more modern sound that helped me to do. But I also enjoyed developing the harp and marimba lines in Jubilation as a solo duet. That's sort of fun. Anyway, My style is generally rather heavily influenced by my favorite Russian composers, such as Mussorgsky, Glinka, Tchaikovsky, but I also really love Debussy, which is quite different from the Russians, but I particularly love his solo piano work, Images, which I'll talk about later. Anyway, I title my work Jubilation, as the work represents sort of my feeling for a concert, a sort of joyous excitement of anticipation, I guess. I feel this often as I sit waiting and I see the people flooding into the hall after they've been called in by a fanfare. I wanted this feeling echoing around the hall, a palpable, buzzing excitement. Now, I'll talk about the pieces that were my inspiration. So for about a year now, I've been obsessed with Image by Debussy. I sort of love the really atonal and modal style that he creates that almost sounds a bit ethereal, but just so amazingly beautiful. Yeah, do you have that there?
I do.
I think the first one should be a riff as well. Yeah. But you can probably see how that influenced the piano piece that I wrote. Just, all those sort of chords and things. But yeah, I just find it hard to get my head around that someone actually wrote that piece. Just find it amazing. But anyway, and yeah, as I've tried to study it and tried to learn it, it's really influenced my style of writing. And I now generally take a much more modal approach. Anyway, I also tend to write for very large orchestras. And my orchestral writing is strongly influenced by another piece I absolutely adore, which is Ravel's orchestration of Mussorgsky's Exhibition. Though very different in style to Images, this suite includes things like a storyline, which I now generally use, and also a strong sense of melody and theme, like much of the Russian music of that same genre. Which probably Promenade or something. That's almost like a fanfare in itself, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, that was sort of my favorite orchestral piece, and I think that's why I now love writing for orchestras. And yeah, just one of my all-time favorite pieces.